Hello friends, today I am going to analyze an article written by the famous English writer Chetan Bhagat. Uh, the title of the article is Why IAS Needs to Change to IES in Name and Spirit to Propel India Forward. I think the vision of Narendra Modi is to boost Indian economy and make it $5 trillion economy in the world as soon as possible. The article written in this direction by Chetan Bhagat leads to the same objective. He says, in an unusual, probably the first for any Indian Prime Minister speech in Parliament, PM Modi commented on what is the IAS or even the entire civil services community could do better. Specifically, he mentioned four things: a need to change the negative attitude of disdain, suspicion, and cynicism towards the private sector and profit making entities. Uh, the second is questioned why Babus need to run everything from fertilizer plants to airlines. And the next is questioned why Babus need to run everything. Emphasize the private sector as a necessary and equal stakeholder in the country's progress. The next, he asked, where will India reach if the entire country is handed over in the hands of Babus? Statements like these suggest a major shift in how the top leadership of the country thinks, which incidentally also mirrors the thinking of millions of India's youth. The writer writes further, progress, specifically the $5 trillion GDP goal kind of progress, is absolutely impossible without a thriving private sector. And yet our Babus have not evolved as fast to fit in with the new economic aspirations of India. In fact, Babu has now become mildly derogatory word suggesting someone old-fashioned who creates red tape, slows things down, and enjoys tormenting others with their power. Uh, the civil services community does need to take some responsibility. However, putting the entire blame on them would neither solve anything nor will it be completely fair. There are several reasons why the IAS and the other civil servants are the way they are, which we need to understand if we truly want to fix things. The single biggest reason why the IAS and other civil servants are the way they are which we need to understand if we truly want to fix things. The single biggest reason for a suboptimal civil service is a completely outdated and warped performance measurement structure which incentives the status quo. A civil servant is never rewarded for making a big positive change. They are, however, penalized if things go wrong. He further says, let's say an IS officer feels the current website of the public service he works for is terrible. A private firm should be hired to redo it. What's the incentive to get this done? Why not just wait in your job for 3 years until the next posting and promotion, which is essentially guaranteed if no feathers are ruffled? Now, if he were to hire a new private firm, there would be a ton of extra work getting approvals. Someone could allege bribes were taken, or maybe bribes are actually taken at some level. The website may not turn out as great or may take longer, and you would be bothering other costing colleagues who hate you now for creating extra work rather than just waiting it out until the next promotion. Best case, even if an amazing new website is created, the public benefits, but the IAS person who did it all gets nothing for it. What would a typical officer do with such trade-offs? Well, nothing. Cost, wait, promotion, posting, repeat. The problem in India as a country can't afford to cost and wait. For while the IS gets a promotion for costing, India as a whole only gets left behind. India won't rise unless we work fast, hard, become innovative, improve things, and create systems that enable us to do all that. In this aspect of warped incentives, it's not the civil servant's fault. He or she has been told, don't rock the boat ever. Here it's really very important to note that he or she has not been prepared in this direction. If the government wants a change, the incentive structures of the IS and other civil services must be overhauled. However, while systemic changes are needed, there is nothing the civil servants community needs to change to. Fact is, the system may be wrong, but civil servants haven't exactly screamed for big change. Once they get through the insanely competitive exam, there seems to be a fondness for the existing system too. Costing could become comfortable after all. Then there is the power, the idea that a billionaire will come home tonight and fold hands to get something. It could get quite addictive. There is also an acute disconnect with technology, especially amongst the older senior IAS officers or civil servants. Tech can transform governance provided those in charge know the power of it. The many sluggish Sarkari websites tell you not many in the government know about UI, user interface, or making websites from the point of view of the user, not the government department itself. Some of these aspects can be fixed, change attitudes, make tech training compulsory, and need to be as they are slowing India down horribly. It is breeding crony capitalism. It is keeping us in the India of 1980s where Sarkari Mai Baap allowed you to do business. As the PM said, times have changed. Civil servants have to not just administer but also enable progress. This is very important. The writer Chetan Bhagat has emphasized that the civil servants have to not just administer but also enable progress. That's why it is probably better if we change the IAS to IES, that is Indian Enabling Service. From Indian Administrative Services to Indian Enabling Services, not just in name but also in spirit. I think the writer's observations are fantastic to boost the economy as desired by our Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi. And if the name changes from IS to Indian Enabling Services, it would be fantastic and definitely it would bring charismatic results in Indian economy and business. Thanks.